Just ahead on News Channel 2 at 6, Shannon Twyford reports on this spectacular fire in Sullivan, Indiana, late this morning.
In the conclusion of our series, The Real Evan Bayh, the governor talks to News Channel 2's Alyssa Krinsky about his faith and how it has been put to the test.
And is Vigo County responding or rejecting recycling? We'll take a look.
That and much more next on News Channel 2.
Captioning of News Channel 2 is brought to you in part by Terre Haute First National Bank.
Firefighters in Sullivan, Indiana battle a major fire that destroys a former business and causes problems for nearby homeowners. Hello, I'm Tom McClanahan.
And I'm Nancy Hoskins. Thanks for joining us tonight. The Wilkinson Lumber Company, which was vacant for the past 2 years, caught on fire right before noon today. That fire spread to damage area houses in the neighborhood, and one family is without their home tonight. News Channel 2's Shannon Twyford was on the scene and has this report.
Onlookers from the neighborhood watched and waited, hoping their home wasn't next.
Well, I figured that caught on fire with the wind. If the wind just blows just right, it'd be a whole block.
Yeah, it was scary there for a while. I got a friend's van I was borrowing, and I had it parked right here, and the flames were so bad that I thought it was going to get my friend Joe's van, and I moved it in the backyard. Yeah, it was really, really hot. I was afraid it was going to melt the paint stuff.
The fire broke out in the Wilkinson Lumber Company behind me and headed west. Now, in its path of destruction, it destroyed the Reed's home. They'll have to start rebuilding.
It seems like these three houses come out all right, but Mike and Connie's house back there, it's gone. And I hate to see that because they're good people.
Some in the neighborhood say the abandoned lumber company was an accident waiting to happen.
I always told my wife, I said, if it ever went, it'd go up good because there's nothing but dry lumber in there.
Well, a lot of structures are hazards.
Was that one?
Oh, not. It's vacant, so it's always a hazard when they're vacant, and it's really close structures. There's a lot of two-story apartments are real close to it, and when you have that kind of problem on an old wooden frame structure such as that's open, there's always problems.
Fire Chief Robert Smith said it was skill and a little bit of luck that helped them save the neighborhood.
It's just due to good fire training and a good department, a lot of mutual aid from a lot of other departments down here, and quick response.
Unfortunately for the Reed family, even with a quick response, they won't be able to sleep in their own beds tonight. But they do have each other to lean on until they can put the pieces of their life and home back together. In Sullivan, Shannon Twyford, News Channel 2.
Well, that fire has also caused problems for nearly 500 telephone customers in that area. A spokesperson for GTE North says crews will be working throughout the night to restore service as quickly as possible.
In other news tonight, a Vigo County Sheriff's vehicle disappeared from Prairiton this afternoon, and for a short time, deputies thought they had a pursuit on their hands. But Sheriff Bill Harris says 38-year-old Mark Allen Farmer had simply hidden the squad car in his garage. Farmer took the car without being noticed while a deputy interviewed neighbors about a vandalism complaint on the 3200 block of West Princeton. He then broadcast messages over the police radio indicating he was headed to Florida. Police forced their way into the suspect's hiding place and arrested him without incident. Farmer is no stranger to police. The neighbors had a standing protective order against him for alleged harassment. Well, efforts by local workers opposed to a prevailing wage amendment to an Indiana law have apparently paid off in the Indiana Senate. A property tax reform measure has passed the Senate, but it does not include the prevailing wage amendment that a similar bill has in the House. Local union members and Democrats had strongly opposed the House bill. They claimed the amendment would mean lower wages for state-financed projects. Each of the property tax measures is designed to lower the growth of property tax here in Indiana.
Well, just last year, Vigo County officials thought there was no future here for recycling. However, this afternoon's Solid Waste District meeting proved differently. Sussman's Recycling Center in West Terre Haute has been open just 3 months, and figures show 3,000 customers will have used the facility by the end of February. Today, Sussman surprised the board with a check for more than $500, money they're giving back to the district to help promote the recycling center. They also announced a cutback in their operating costs, a cut which will save $51,000 a year.
Complaints is the expense, and it's understandable. So this will give everybody in the county or city an opportunity to help fund their own drop-off.
And tonight at 11, Kathy Dash will take an in-depth look at the future of recycling in Vigo and surrounding counties. Well, for months we've been telling you that an end may be in sight to the controversy over the Terre Haute Humane Shelter. Once again, Mayor Pete Chalos is saying a final proposal for a new animal shelter could be just weeks away. So far, 3 individuals have expressed interest. Dr. Andrew Pickering of the Wabash Valley Animal Hospital, Wayne Langham, owner of Critters Control, and Bill Roach, who has been in the kennel business for about 40 years. Dr. Pickering is the only one who's submitted a final proposal, but Mayor Chalos is still open to bids. Chalos says a combined effort between the county and the city has not yet been ruled out.
Always a confusing story, so just bear with me. There could be a change in the way this part of Indiana observes its time. A House committee in Indianapolis approved a measure that would shift most of Indiana, including Vigo County, to Eastern Daylight Saving Time. That means clocks in Indiana would move ahead 1 hour in the spring and be moved back 1 hour in the fall. We would be on the same time basically as the East Coast year-round. Right now, we are an hour behind in the summer. 10 counties near Gary and Evansville would stay the way they are right now. So that time business is always hard to explain, and it doesn't seem like everybody is happy about it.
No, it took me months to get it straight when I moved here.
So we should just leave it be then.
We should leave it be, and Jesse, we should leave the weather the way it was yesterday.
I might just do that, actually. That's what everybody wants. Yesterday was 60 degrees. We had all kinds of sunshine. Today's weather map, though, shows a cold front which has moved east of this area. High pressure moved in, brought us some cold northwest winds. Today, temperatures almost 20 degrees cooler. However, out west of here, another warm front's headed this way. Tomorrow looks to be a very nice day. How about the rest of the week, though? We'll talk about that coming up in a few minutes. Tom, Nancy?
Thanks, Jesse. Up next here on News Channel 2 at 6, Alyssa Krinsky continues her look at the real Evan Bayh.
Well, it may seem like he's lived a charmed life. The governor has dealt with his share of tragedy as well. That story just ahead.
You're watching News Channel 2 with Tom McClanahan, Nancy Hoskins, meteorologist Jesse Walker, and Jason Penske Sports.
Bayh is only 39 years old, and many people predict a promising future.
Well, he's certainly lived a fascinating life filled with great triumph and dotted with tragedy as well. News Channel 2's Alyssa Krinsky sat down with the governor to find out more about the real Evan Bayh.
Evan Bayh won't turn 40 until next December. Yet his life is a mosaic of experience. Some of it quite ordinary, some of it absolutely extraordinary. He remembers being a young child and meeting John Kennedy.
I met him in Terre Haute. He came in 1960 for a rally during his campaign for president, and he came out to the Holman Field, and my family went out. My folks dressed me up. I was probably 4 or 5 at the time. And my father had me on his shoulders and introduced me to the president, and I shook his hand, and I burst out crying. So there was a big moment in history, and all I can do is bury my head in my dad's shoulder and cry.
And in his adulthood, he has achieved soaring success and has endured painful loss. His mother, Marvella, passed away from cancer. He says he draws inner strength from his faith.
My wife, Susan, and I, we pray every day. It's not something I talk about practically ever. We don't publicize our beliefs, but we're both devout. And there are many things. We had a miscarriage about a year ago now. Why do things like that happen? That was very traumatic, particularly on her. I think it was more difficult for her. You just have to have faith and know that in God's own time and through his own grace that things will work out.
And through the ups and through the downs, he maintains a strong dedication to his public service and a disarming sense of humor about himself.
I affect 5.5 million people every day, so that's on my mind, but I don't look in the mirror and say, there's the governor. I look in the mirror and say, I need a shave.
Alyssa Krinsky, News Channel 2.
Great line.
And don't we all just see the regular stuff about ourselves?
I think that kind of sums up the governor.
Absolutely.
Good man. Just ahead on News Channel 2 at 6, Jesse has another nice day on tap for tomorrow. Better enjoy it because another blast this winter may be around the corner.
And after weather will get you pumped up about the fuel your body needs to function properly in tonight's Student Body Lesson.
They're back.
We're back.
And they're ready for action.
They're back.
Your favorites are back for the ultimate battle.
It's Some of the Greats week.
Brace yourself for the war of the century.
Look out. We're back.
To spin again.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
It's edge of your seat, spine-tingling excitement. So run, don't walk to Wheel of Fortune Some of the Greats week. Weeknights at 7 on News Channel 2.
And here are the winning numbers in the Illinois midday drawing for today. Pick 3010, pick 49093. And Jesse, I think I heard you call it a roller coaster forecast. That is truly the case.
It was 60 yesterday, down today. We're going to go back up tomorrow, just up and down all over the place.
Means we'll probably go down again.
You got that right. coming up soon. I want to talk about temperature extremes today. This happened actually on this day back in 1918. Speaking of temperatures that go all over the place, out in North Dakota, they jumped 83 degrees in one day. They started at 33 below zero. And before the day was over in Granville, North Dakota, it hit 50 above, an 83-degree temperature change. This is kind of a wild time of the year when we can have some pretty big temperature swings. And give you an idea, out in Los Angeles with the O.J. Simpson trial, 95 yesterday. That is the warmest they've ever had in the month of February. So some really bizarre weather is going on nationwide. We have some warmer weather headed our way as well. As you can tell by tomorrow, up to 50 by the noon hour, approaching 60 tomorrow afternoon. So more nice weather's on the way, but it won't last too long before more changes occur. We'll talk about that in the forecast. Right now, fair skies, temperature 38, so cooler today. Wind northwest at 6 with a gust to 29 miles per hour. The wind chill 34, relative humidity at 48%. Today's high up to 42. It was 60 yesterday, so we dropped 18 degrees off the high today. 28 was our low early this morning, but still those temperatures are about normal for this time of the year. 30-20 is the pressure. It's falling tonight. The dew point at 20, and the Wabash River is going down in Terre Haute. It's at 2.8 feet. Precipitation, nothing here today. 0.58 for the month, and for the year still running at 3.63. Temperatures look like this: 39 Terre Haute, 42s down along the Ohio River, 33 right now in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Back off to the west of here, we have some warmer weather moving in. Look at this, 60 now in Springfield, Missouri. That warmer air is moving in our direction. The jet stream is moving off to the east. It's taking this pocket of cool air with it right now, mainly in Illinois and Indiana, but it's moving off to the east. Warmer weather out to the west of here, and that's what we're going to see moving in here. Actually, later on tonight, these clouds are right along a little warm front, which is moving in from the west, and once that warm front comes in, our temperatures later tonight will probably start to rise a little bit. You can see these clouds moving in from the west, so even though we had some sunshine today, later tonight, we're going to find more clouds moving in. Precip, just really, there's not much out there. All of these systems are moving along the U.S.-Canadian border. It's quite cool, and there's not a whole lot of moisture in that cold air. High pressure today, though, brought us some sunshine and cooler weather. The warm front I'm talking about is off to the west of here, right across the northern high plains. Tomorrow it moves quickly through here. So tomorrow will be warmer, but then tomorrow evening this cold front moves in, and the temperatures tomorrow night will go down again. So this temperature roller coaster will continue at least for a couple more days. To give you an idea, tomorrow in the nation's heartland, temperatures about 20 degrees warmer than they were today, and all of this warm air is moving in our direction, but keep in mind it'll be somewhat short-lived. Then by the time we roll into about Thursday, high pressure moves in, and we'll find cooler weather again as we wrap up this work week. Now, forecast lows tonight will drop down into 20s. Here's this warm air, though, coming in from the west. Look at this. Highs tomorrow in the 50s, maybe some 60s down to the far south. However, it is possible by the time we hit next week, the 6 to 10-day outlook, cool weather, maybe a little touch of winter moving in next week. We'll see what happens, but I would look for changes about a week down the road. Forecast for this area tonight, though, partly cloudy and cool down to 28 degrees. Tomorrow, a beautiful day, sunny, much warmer. It will be breezy, a high back near the 60 mark. I don't think we'll quite make it. We'll be close tomorrow. Tomorrow night, fair, mild, down to about 36. Then on Thursday, partly sunny and cooler again with a high of 48. Looks like about 42 on Friday, then warming back up by the weekend. So temperatures maybe for this weekend will be in pretty good shape.
Okay, get that roller coaster going up.
We're going back up tomorrow and then back down tomorrow night.
All in all, we can't complain.
Oh, no, not at all.
A very mild winter so far.
February traditionally is the second coldest month of the year for us, and it's not been all that bad, really.
No, you're right there. Thanks, Jess. Well, in recent lessons, our student body project with area schools has concentrated on how our heart, lungs, and muscles work. Now, for the next several days, we're going to talk about nutrition. Here's Lesson 12 of our News Channel 2 Student Body Project. The basic purpose of eating is to provide your body with the energy essential to sustain life. Our students were asked to answer this question. What percentage of the energy from your food intake is used for basic body functions? Is it A, 10%, B, 40%, or C, 70%? The correct answer is C. 70% of the energy you take in as food is used to keep your heart pumping, your liver and kidneys functioning, and so on. Only about 30% of all the food you eat is turned into external energy to be used in activities such as sports. On a day-to-day basis, your body's metabolism has to keep its energy intake and output in balance. If you burn more energy than you eat, you will start to use your own body components as fuel, most likely fat from your fat cells, and you'll lose weight. If you eat more than you burn, then you'll probably store the excess as fat and gain weight. In the days ahead, our lessons will help you to learn more about good nutrition. The topic of tomorrow's student body lesson will be vitamins and minerals, something a lot of people have questions about.
Pays to eat right.
Coming up in sports, we'll talk basketball live with South coach Pat Rady.
And make it to the 4 R's at a school in North Carolina. Reading, writing, arithmetic, and racing. Jason will explain why next.
You're watching News Channel 2 with Tom McClanahan, Nancy Hoskins, meteorologist Jesse Walker, and Jason Penske Sports.
This tax tip is brought to you by Larison's Accounting.
Today's tax tip subject
to Stock Market Report is brought to you by Merchants National Bank, your bank for life.
Stock market mixed today on Wall Street in anticipation of Alan Greenspan's testimony in Congress tomorrow. The Dow closing up 10.5 points on a relatively light volume of 308 million shares. Locally, Sony a good day, up 1 at 45 5/8. Pfizer down 7/8 at 80.5. Commodity exchange, gold closing the same as last week. Silver down 3 at 473. Tarot cash grain market active. New crop wheat at 314. That's down 1. Corn down 1. Beans up 2 cents, and oats and milo down 1 cent each. Chicago Board of Trade, March wheat at 360.5. That's down 6. March corn down 1/2 today, and March oats down 1/2 as well. March beans up 2 at 5.57. And Jason Penske here with talk of high school basketball.
Yeah, it's almost a Friday. Of course, 1 week from tonight is sectional openers all over Indiana. And tonight is a busy night of high school basketball action for the Valley in both Indiana and Illinois. Still regular season in Indiana, playoff time in Illinois. Here's a peek at the schedule. The South Braves are at home tonight against Chittard. Also, Terre Haute Christian and North Central are at home. And regional play, everybody, at Lawrenceville and at Marshall. That's over in Illinois. Now, as for the South Braves, they're coming off that dramatic win over Lincoln, giving Coach Rady his 500th win. Coach, your thoughts now on what would be win number 501? You'll have to beat a pretty good Chittard team to get it.
Well, that's correct, Jason. NF Chittard is got a record of 8-10, but they play a real fine schedule, and they just come off a big win over Center Grove. And about a week and a half ago, they beat Indianapolis Ritter, and they hit 15 threes. And talking to a couple of coaches, they said they really look for the threes, and if they're on, they can really give you a lot of problems. In fact, one kid the other night was 6 for 8 from the 3.
Gotcha. Your team has done a great job this year, 12-6. Has this team surpassed maybe even your own expectations, especially considering Barry Manette's injury?
Yeah, I have to say so, Jason. I mean, I've always kind of optimistic to the players and feel that, you know, you can achieve an awful lot if you really work together. But this year, this team has kind of been very special in accomplishing a lot of things on what has happened to them and losing players and key players. And they've really put together a very fine, I think, a ball club that is very enjoyable to be around. They're very good-natured. They have a lot of pride in what they do, and they have a sense of humor. And a lot of times you like to see that out of young people. You find that person who is just so serious you doesn't realize there's a time to laugh, and then there's that group that's always laughing and never realize there's time to get serious. And this ball club has seemed to find the balance portion of both, and really a great group to be around.
Okay, well, the sectionals, I don't have to tell you, start 1 week from tonight. You get the Northview Knights. We've already talked about this on the phone today. A team that may be playing their best basketball in years. They are now 10-8 after 5 consecutive wins.
Well, you always talk, every coach talks about, hey, we don't care what the record is, we want you to peak at the tournament time. And I'd say John has really got their team peaking at tournament time. The last 2 weeks, having wins over Owen Valley and Bloomfield, both on the road, is exceptional and fine victories. And it goes to show you what kind of job John does over at Northview. And they're coming on. I told you at the first of the year that I thought this section would really be a barn burner. But with North being the top dog, and I think they still are, I think being rated in the top 10 is something that they deserve, and they're going to, this Wabash Valley is very strong this year, but West Vigo and Northview, and I like to think we are there also as teams that you better watch out for. When it comes tournament time, anything can happen. And then you look at that.
Well, Coach, we certainly appreciate you joining us tonight. Best of luck against Chittard, and also congratulations on win number 500.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it very much.
Okay. Well, thanks a bunch to Coach Rady for joining us. Now, finally, just how popular is the NASCAR circuit? All you had to do is watch the Daytona 500 or go to the Brickyard 400 to figure that out. But in tonight's sports, for people who don't like sports, we show you that NASCAR has grown so big it's even hit the college classroom. Okay, so calculus and social sciences are not your cup of tea when it comes to college classes. Not to fear, though, if you're at Elon College, where students can race to grab one of 25 seats available in a stock car racing class. That's right, this class actually teaches the business aspect of stock car racing and the tremendous success of the NASCAR circuit.
I found out you could study marketing, management, public relations, motivation, human relations, anything you wanted to through studying NASCAR.
Stock car racing is so big and so huge, it draws over 200 million fans annually through the radio, TV, and live racing.
It is a business, it is entertainment, then it is a sport.
So get those transfer slips out, college students everywhere. Elon is in North Carolina. Maybe coming to Indiana State someday soon. Who knows?
You never know.
Thanks, Duke. When we return, we'll preview Iowa News Channel 2 at 11.
And we'll tell you about a man who's ready to go when the Grim Reaper calls. They play a key role when thousands of visitors come to the county for a farm progress show. We'll meet them, and we'll have more on Vigo County's response to recycling. Jesse with weather and Jason with sports. We'll see you at 11.
And finally tonight, Irvin Lachute likes to take care of things himself, including his own funeral. The 70-year-old New Hampshire farmer doesn't plan to die anytime soon, but he's ready. He's picked a nice sunny spot in his yard, and as his final resting place is already dug. Lachute says he's thinking ahead because he doesn't want undertakers, casket makers, and grave diggers to profit from his demise. He says he also doesn't want his final journey to be a burden for his 5 daughters.
Interesting.
That's a guy thinking ahead.
I guess. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tonight at 11.
Good night.